3, 2, 1. Hey everybody. Welcome. It is October 12th, 2015. It's Thanksgiving in Canada.
Not quite Thanksgiving in the U.S.
No, not quite. Soon.
Soon, TM.
You're listening to or watching a very special episode of the Post Game Lobby. For those of you who are new, and for those of you who may have forgotten, I'm your host Cam.
Have forgotten.
Well, I mean, it's been
at least a year.
I have a doggy in my room.
My dogs are not with me.
What are you doing? Go.
Bye, Abby.
What? I don't have anything for you.
She's
go
out
of my room.
She knows it's about to be an emotional time for you, Cam. So she's here to
she's here to comfort me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get out of my room. Out. What, you want up? Is that what you want? Come here. Come and join the live stream. Come and join the show.
D-Live. Doge.
What?
Hi, Doge.
You gonna sit here? I don't know why she's in my room, but...
She loves you, Cam. That's why.
But yes, I'm Cam. 20-year-old animating kid.
Oh my god, you're 20. What the fuck? I feel so fucking old now.
And I like anime, and I like video games, and I like hosting the show. Joining me today on this very eventful two-man show is my sidekick, my partner in crime, Mr. Tyler Stone.
Hey, 22.
Reppin'.
22!
Reppin' the age.
Oh my god, dude. We're getting old. How old?
How old?
How old can we be, Cam?
Well, we could be older, realistically speaking.
I don't know, 2012 is rapidly approaching, dude.
2016.
World's gonna end.
I hate to break it to you, bud, but
Yo, the Cubs are gonna win the World Series this year. As told by
Marty McFly.
By Marty McFly, dude. The Cubs are gonna win the World Series.
Okay. Go ahead.
Can we just talk about the World Series?
Yeah, real quick.
Like, the playoffs? Fucking...
That the Jays are blowing it.
Oh my god, the Jays are like...
Super hard. They won yesterday.
They did win yesterday. So they gotta win 2 more games.
They're playing now.
Well, I mean, if they win today, they come back to the Rockies.
Tirana, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, they're playing today, yeah.
As much as I want the Cubs to win, win the World Series, just because, like, I want the Jays to win.
I want the Jays to win too, but that's obvious because
I don't know if they get past the Rangers. I think they've got a pretty decent shot because I don't think
if Kansas loses, we're more.
I forgot about the Royals. They were
the head of the AL.
Yeah, they're American League. First seed. They're pretty good. I don't know who's gonna come out of the National League though. It's gonna be
the Mets. The Mets are gonna come out.
You never know. Like, I don't know. They seem to be kind of slumping towards the end of the year, and the rest of the National League seems pretty weak. Besides St. Louis,
because the National League sucks.
So, like, St. Louis got to like 85 wins in like 100 games or something, and
then lost.
Well, they were just like, yo, we've got our spot locked up for the rest of the season.
Yeah, so really though.
Not even gonna try.
Yeah, I mean we benched Price for like the last 3 games of the season, and then we put him in as our first pitcher of postseason. So he hadn't played for like 11 games or days rather, and he sucked. So,
yes.
Yeah. Don't do that. Bad choices, Jays. Bad choices.
Yes. It's okay. It's okay though because the damn Yankees didn't even make it into the playoffs.
Thank God. I hate the Yankees.
I hate the Yankees.
So, what are you doing, doggy? Anyway, this is a very, very, very special. Okay, you're like hiding under my desk and
just let her hide.
I don't know.
Ignore the dog.
I don't know what she's doing. And I can't concentrate with her, like, stepping on my microphone and trying to get up on my chair. I think she pulled out my headphones a little.
She wants to be here for you, Cam.
Yeah. This is a very special podcast because, this is, in fact, the last episode of, the Post-Game Lobby. It's been something like 5 years we've been doing the show. And,
Yes. This would be the 5th year.
yeah, May was,
Our 5th birthday.
yeah. And, we've gotten busy,
Oh God.
personally, my drive for the show, like, disappeared, a year ago,
Yeah.
easily. And, I figured just restarting the show and making it new with the new name and new format and all that, would try and kick my drive back into it, but it really didn't.
It did for a little bit, but then like
It did for a couple weeks, yeah.
because we decided to like switch to a non-weekly format.
We couldn't do weekly. It was
Yeah.
just too much work. So, once we switched to monthly, it just kind of we switched to bi-weekly, and that kind of worked every now and then. And then we decided to switch to monthly, and that never even lifted off the ground.
we did like one show.
We
after
did one. We did one post. The winter month. I think we did one at the end of January, and
Yeah.
it wasn't working out, and under my bed, of course. So I messaged Tyler about a week ago
Via Snapchat.
at like 1 a.m, and I'm like, hey.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was actually at Angela's house, and I got that, and I was like, she's like, "What'd Cam say?" I said, "Yeah, we're gonna be doing our very last podcast."
Yep,
She's
finale.
like, "Oh."
And I messaged him. I said, you know what? We're done, man. Like we haven't done a show in like a year. So
I immediately agreed.
so we came to the conclusion that it'd probably be best just to put the show to rest. So today is going to be different from a regular show. We won't be doing new releases. We won't be doing news. We won't be doing any of that. Today is more of a retrospect of what the past 5 years have brought,
Have been.
and just talk about some of our favorite memories, how it started, how it all got going. Just cheeky banter between the lads, really, is what it would be.
Fucking X advice. Let's talk about that, Jim. Let's talk
back
about
in the
that.
day.
Back
So
in the day with Richie.
I actually want to start off by talking about the very beginning, just straight from where we started.
When
And
I wasn't here.
so to start off, I started the show back in grade 10, I think is when it was, 2010. And I started the show with two of my buddies, two of my Skype buddies, Richie, and our acquaintance, I'll call him.
Our acquaintance.
Yaz. And initially, we had the show called Saturday with the Reapers.
Ugh.
Where Reapers comes from, I'll go even further back. Back in grade 9, me and my friends would play Call of Duty.
Oh no.
Yeah, and
I think I've heard this story, but
our little tag, because you could do like clan tags and stuff for Modern Warfare 2 was R3AP Reap.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know, we'll just call ourselves the Reapers or whatever. Which, in turn, is the reason for my stupid Xbox Live handle. Somehow. Yeah.
I love seeing that every time I come over too.
Demon Beats.
Yes.
2 Zs. So I was talking to them, I'm like, hey, you know what, guys? You know what we could do? Because I was a big fan of the podcast Creature Talk.
Oh my god, Creature Talk.
Way back. This is 5 to 7 years ago. I'd watch that, and just a bunch of online YouTube guys did a show every now and then, and I thought it was cool. I'm like, yeah, well, you know what? I could probably do that. Why not give it a try? I don't have a fan base or anything, so build it up. We'll just start from scratch and see where we go. And yeah, so I approached Richie and Yaz. I'm like, hey guys, why don't we do a podcast? Like, we don't have to do anything else on the weekends. So
yeah. Besides play video games.
yeah, so why don't we just make the most out of our time and do a podcast? So that's what we did. We started the show. It was a Saturday, and
Cam opened up his legs, and thus the podcast was born.
I pulled open my butt, and flew
out of the butt canal.
And yeah, so the first show, I can talk about that. In fact,
oh my god, I actually listened to the majority of that first show, and it was
garbage.
It was garbage.
Fun fact, I was gonna talk about this later, but I'll bring it up now. I'm going to upload an archive of all the shows in a zip file, and I'm gonna put it on probably Mega or Mediafire. And anybody that wants it, it's more than free to download it and listen to all the shows that we've ever recorded.
Every single show, yes.
We have hours of pure content in there, I tell you what. So the first ever show we recorded, I had no idea what I was doing. No idea. I was just basing all of my experience off of listening to other podcasts. So, I opened the show. I think my mouth was full of food. And it was me and Yaz to start off the show, because Richie was somewhere.
And Richie just comes in like halfway through, doesn't he?
Yeah. And it was me, Yaz, and Yaz had added one of his buddies to the call. He's like, hey, I'll just add this guy. We'll have a guest. Okay, sure, cool, whatever.
That was a recurring theme.
Yeah.
Like, even after they were gone.
So, I had a whole list of topics. I think, let's see if I can pull this up real quick. I think I have, and may or may not, I probably don't have the list of our first ever, like, list of shit we were going to talk about.
Topic list, yes.
Let's see if I can find it here. Topic lists. Season 1. Okay. 2011 was when we started, I think. May 7th.
Ooh.
Okay. This is topic list. Who we are, and welcome. That's point 1. Point 2 is what we've been up to this week. All of this is in lowercase, no punctuation or anything.
The business plan right here.
Number 3 is games coming out next week. Number 4 is PSN is still down. Oh my god, that was back in the PSN shortage.
Good lord!
Oh my god.
So long ago.
Oh my god.
I bet you feel old now, don't you?
Yeah, that was almost 5 years ago, yeah. Infamous 2. New Devil May Cry. Diablo 2, question mark. I don't know why.
Jesus.
Point number 8. Yaz hates mayo. And our last, certainly not least point, literally just says wing the rest.
Wing the rest. Profit?
Profit? So after we got done talking about all of that, I remember about an hour into the show we started playing what was that? What was the game? Draw My Thing? Is that what it's called?
Oh yes.
Yeah? We just started playing it, like while recording. No video feed. We just started playing it.
Yeah.
It's on the podcast. It's on the show. The
Yeah.
show was like 2.5 hours long because
That's all you did.
we didn't know time limits or something. So, yeah, we yeah.
That was a thing.
So slowly, as the season progressed, it became apparently more difficult for us to find a proper time that worked for everybody, I guess.
Yeah.
Originally, it was 2 p.m. EST, I think, is when we originally planned to do the show. But between us working and stuff, it got progressively harder for us to all find. Do you want up? Do you want up again? Is that what you want?
There you go,
Just
Abby.
stay there. Stay. Hey. Stay.
It's like, what do I do now?
What? Do you want to come over? Naturally, this is what I deal with.
Into the lap.
So, one of the shows we did, Yaz was like on his phone or something, and my internet was terrible, so I was trying to record the show on like the worst Wi-Fi connection ever.
Oh,
and,
yes, I remember that. I remember the terrible cam internet.
And the show kept the call kept on dropping in and out, and it was like,
you would just be like, well, let me
let me just wait.
Just wait for my internet to be a thing, and
then it got to the point where it's like maybe we should get more than the three of us, because we're clearly not competent by ourselves. So
the juicy part of the story comes right here.
That's my reasonings, I guess. So the Creatures had a forum page called the Creature Hub,
which is now their like group YouTube page.
Is it?
It's good. Yeah, it's called the Creature Hub.
Is it like actually a legitimate page again?
Yes. Oh, like they post stuff there every day, like Rooster Teeth style. They post stuff there every day.
So I frequented the forum, and I put a post out saying, "Hey, run a podcast. Looking for guests. Wasn't even permanent members. We're looking for guests, and like, hey, just hit me up. Here's my email. Here's my Skype. If you wanna come on the show, just let me know. This is when we do the show. This is our time. Whatever. My name's Cam. Just hit me up." And I got several people saying like, "Hey, yeah, I'll be on the show." I think I still have some people on Skype even that I have as like little question marks because they've unadded me or I've unadded them or whatever. And you were the first real guest we had.
Yeah.
And you came on with your under the sea mic.
Oh. Well, I was using my I was on a laptop at the time that I had gotten for high school graduation from my grandparents.
Wow.
And it was a piece of shit. It's okay. Never mind. It's actually not still in my room. Like after I migrated to my new computer, it was just sitting on my little my little ottoman next to my bed, just gathering dust, and I finally got it out of here because it was just taking up space. But
I know I had a really bad mic back then as well.
It had a microphone installed in it, and it was awful.
I know. I got a mic for the only reason I had a headset was for my PlayStation 3, because my buddies and I would play Call of Duty, and we didn't know what Skype was or like know how to work that shit like prior to that, so we just used the in-game comms, and I had this like Logitech like $15 like all-in-one mic. It's terrible, but it was what I had, so
got the job done. Half the time you couldn't understand me, but at least like you were
I was audible.
Audible.
So I used that up until about season 2, when I finally got my Turtle Beach headset, which Joe has it now, and I'd pay him to get it back probably. I love that headset so much. Would you pay to get that headset back too? But yeah, Tyler was the first person to come on the show, and I think that was episode 6 of the show.
of the first season.
Yeah. Let me check here. Backups. Season 1. We've done okay. From what I have in my backup folder, I have seasons 1 through 5 because when we first started the show, we actually did it 13 episodes per season. Then we take a 2-week break and then come back with the next season. So I have seasons 1 through 5. Then I have December 2012 through May 2013. And then I have June 2013 through December 2013. And then I have just a folder with literally everything that we've recorded up till now. Or from then, anyway.
How big is that folder size?
Let's see here. 7 gigs. 7.65 gigs.
That's not that big. Well, it's all audio files, so I guess that.
Yeah, I think it was episode 6 you came on.
Yeah.
And
I just double checked, and the creatures actually don't have their original form site up anymore.
Yeah, no, I knew they took it down.
Yeah, they made the switch, so the digital evidence of me joining
that website is gone.
The digital evidence of me asking to join the pod or asking to be on the podcast is no more.
That website was terrible, dude. The community was so toxic. Like, you think back to it now, that community was really, really toxic.
Yeah.
Go on.
Most of it was like high schoolers and below, like teenagers to like preteens.
Yeah. And
that didn't quite that weren't like
they didn't understand.
Yeah. No, they weren't like socially sound quite yet because they're preteens.
Hey, I'll be real. I started the show like I'm socially awkward still, like even now. And
you're better.
Oh, I could pass as a social butterfly because I'm good at acting. But
yes.
Very much so. Like I was, hey you, out from under my bed. Out. Okay, you know what? Just 1 sec.
Yeah.
Come here. No, come here. Come here. Come here.
Cam's
Come here. Out.
Exercising the demon.
She's gone.
Oh, the mudkip. Yes, the mudkip.
I'm no longer burdened.
No longer burdened
by my dog.
By
But yeah, like I'm still socially awkward to some extent. I'm way better than I was way back in the day. But
what about like being in big cause I know it was either the last time I went to Anime North or the time before. You mentioned something about like being kind of nervous in big crowds.
That's more of like a claustrophobia thing. I just don't like.
Oh, okay.
Being that clustered together.
Yeah.
That's not a social thing. I'm pretty good in crowds. Like.
Did you actually make it to the rave this year?
Yes, we did. So.
And how garbage was it?
We'll tangent real quick. So Tyler comes up every year, or for the past like 4, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was the 3rd year.
Is it the 3rd?
Yeah.
Okay. The past 3 years, Tyler's come up for Anime North, which is an anime convention in Toronto, and they have this like midnight rave thing. It's like
I think like every anime convention has some sort of rave.
It's like 10 p.m. like onwards is this rave, and we've always said, you know what, we're going down to the rave. We're gonna go to the rave.
Oh my god.
And every year something comes up, like one of us doesn't want to go, or it's some shit like that. And this year, I think you went last year. You went down with
I went the first year.
Okay. So this year, Tyler stayed back with our buddy Austin.
Yes!
And watched pay-per-view, like, didn't even watch pay-per-view TV. They watched, like...
the fucking infomercial style game shows.
Infomercial game shows at like 2 in the morning. Actually, no, it was like 10. It was like 11 o'clock. It's like 11 o'clock, and
Jesus, that was gold. That was comedy gold.
Myself, our buddy Joe, our buddy Dylan, and 2 of Joe's buddies. We went.
Dicks.
Yes, they were. Except Max. Max was pretty cool. Max was the blonde one. He was pretty cool. So we went. Yeah, that's. Yeah.
Isn't his name like Jordan or something?
Yeah. So we went down to the rave, what could pass as a rave, I guess. And it was gross.
If it's nightcore music, it's a rave.
It wasn't even nightcore. It was like people were smoking and people were like
that's why I only stayed at the rave for like 5 minutes the first year that I went.
They were like trip hop dancing or some shit. Like,
yes, the scene kids.
It got to the point where Joe, Dylan, and I were like, let's just go back. Like, there's no
and aren't you glad you did?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. So I think Brad came with us as well.
Yes,
Brad went down with us as well. So
the tightest you've ever had.
It was a waste of 30 minutes leaving the hotel. It really was. So yeah, that's our side story for the rave. But yeah, like I was a socially awkward kid, and like I don't have a huge group of friends at school. I had 5 or 6. I don't know,
yeah,
it's decent sized, I guess.
I was one of those kids that was kind of like I was really good friends with like this academically gifted, because you know I was like in the gifted program from like kindergarten, like pre-first grade onward.
Yeah.
And then like just because I was smart, like I was kind of friends with everybody, because you know,
yeah,
I'm there. Like I don't want to say like I'm a decent person to hang out with. Like once people get to know me, I think I'm all right to hang out with.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I never really had any beef with anybody ever.
I was with the arty crowd, so
yeah.
It was like me, Joe, Alan, Dylan. Like we all did art, so
yeah.
we just hung out together, and yeah. So through Tyler joining, we did have one actual like legit guest on the show. Well, we've had a few. We've had a couple. We had YouTuber by the name of Amtrax. He came on, I think, the second week Tyler was on, because Tyler came on, and then we're like, you know what, just come on back next week. Like, yeah. you enjoyed it. We enjoyed having you. So, like, you know what, just come back next week. Whatever.
I'll tell you, I was so excited too.
Yeah.
Like, I was really hyped when I got done with the first show, and like once you mentioned coming back on the show, I was like, oh my god, yes,
yeah.
Please. This is like the best use of my weekends, because at that time I didn't have a job yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all I had like during the week was school. Like I had school every day during the week, but like I wasn't in classes from like 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. like like public school is all the way up until the end of high school.
Yeah.
So like all this free time, and I'm kind of not doing anything on the weekends, so I was like,
yeah, you're making the most out of your time. Like I was the same. I didn't do anything on the weekends, so it's like that. Yeah. So we had this guy Amtrax on, and a lot of people know him through his Dragonite bitch video. So I reached out to him. I'm like, hey man, I'm a small-time podcast guy. We're looking for guests. Do you want to come on the show? And he was so cool about it. He was like, yeah man, sure, whatever. What's the show called? Where can they find it? Like, what's all that? Like, this is the first time I think we'd ever used Twitch.
Yeah.
And
is this Amtrax, this Austin Matthews guy?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So he came on, and I didn't know how to handle guests. Like, I don't know like what to do, because I just kind of lumped him in with the rest of us, and I'd let him talk when he wanted to talk. And at the time, our format was much different than what it is now. We'd kind of just freeball for the first 30 to 40 minutes. Then we had a section called Poke Talk, where we talk about
I remember Poke Talk,
a specific Pokemon or Pokemon trainer or whatnot, and we just like talk about them. That was such a
we nixed that so early on though.
Why did I think that was a good idea? Can you?
Because it's video games, dude. I
guess.
if it depends on like if we had actually had like a decent sized audience and
Yeah.
most of them turned out to be like Pokemon fans, that would have been a really good idea to just like have like a big chunk of the show about like a certain Pokemon or like an aspect in Pokemon.
Yeah, that's the problem, and specifically with this, like, anybody that listens to this is gonna be like one of the few people that actually listen to the show.
We love you, Gabe.
Even on the live stream, it's like you, me, and Rowan.
And Rowan, yeah.
So, I archive these and I upload them to YouTube. That's where the views come from. So, so yeah, like even then, it's like, yeah, we built up a bit of an audience, and it was, I think it was too late. It was too late for us to even bother, and so yeah, like we had Poke Talk, we had this segment with Richie, right from the very beginning. I think it was the second week we implemented it, called Sex Talk with Richie.
Oh.
It was like why we had it. I have no idea why we had it. But Richie was super perverted, I think is what the reason.
He was a funny guy though. Like considering how perverted he was.
I kind of want to reach out to him on Skype and be like, "Hey man," and then
come back for the final show.
I know we haven't talked in actual years, but just watch this. Just
I'm friends with him on Steam.
I am too. I
don't think he's on though.
Yeah, man. It's like just. I'm gonna send him a YouTube video just to be like, man, it's been years since we talked, but look at how far we've come.
Yeah.
Nowhere.
Nowhere.
So we had that. I used the song by Yellow, Oh Yeah. Oh Yeah. I used like the Oh Yeah part of that song as like the precursor into it and the precursor out of it. And he just talk about God knows. I think
I want to go back and listen to my first appearance on the show just to hear like what his question was and like
let me see.
Hear whatever my reaction was to it.
2, 3, May, June, July. Okay, June. Yeah, God knows, man. Yeah, I know it was live during the time, so but yeah, we had that for no good reason, I guess. Then what other segments did we have? We had a movie segment for about a couple months, I guess, where we kind of lumped it in because we were. I don't even know what type of podcast we were trying to do at the very beginning. It was like a multimedia podcast almost.
Yeah.
We talk about games, we talk about us, we talk about movies that were out, we talk about YouTube.
The YouTube video segment.
Yeah. That was the end of the show. We'd all plug like, hey, we found this like interesting YouTube video this week. Like everybody should check it out, and we'd link it or whatever, and people go from there, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some interesting topics, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost kind of sad how none of them went anywhere.
At least until we got to like our core that we ended up using for so many years.
And I think the core that we have even now, as we end the show, is like this is what is needed. It's what we played, what we did during the week, just to talk about ourselves. New releases, like, yeah, whatever, we're a gaming show, of course we're going to talk about new releases, and then gaming news, so it's like, and even then, we have our League of Legends segment, so like,
because like, while we were still, I think that seems kind of like a correlation in between, like, how often the majority of us are playing League, and how often we did the show, primarily because, like, the end of the show usually ended with us talking about League of Legends, either like the LCS or like a current patch or like a new champion being released or whatever.
Well, even now, like we still like a large portion of our group still plays League of Legends like daily, like daily, and it's kind of concerning that we still play this stupid game for after 5 years.
Me?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I play it when I can. I'm not as big a fan as I was way back when I'd play it like every day, like for hours on end. It's like now I'll get a couple games and I'll be good for a week. So Yeah, I'm looking at a topic list for June 18th, 2011. I have topics like summer break is starting, so we can talk about that. Games of the week, gaming news, movie talk. A new idea. Get weekly guests. That really went far.
New idea. 3 years later,
groundbreaking idea that we never followed through on. I tried. I really did try to get us some guests, and a lot of it didn't fall through. So
yeah, nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, really. Like, who wants to go on a show where nobody's heard of? So
yeah. Except for Swagger, Chocolate Drop Aguilar, and Matthew Eads.
Dram was.
Dram was. Oh my god.
Dram was.
Don't bring it up. Don't bring it up.
Well, Dram is a legitimate guest. We actually like.
Yeah.
We interviewed him. Like,
and
he's the only.
I kind of fucked that up.
Well, I mean.
My bad.
He still likes you. He still remembers me. I go into his chat every now and then. He's like, oh man, it's Cam. It's like, oh my god, I love you, Dram, so much.
I still I follow him on Twitch, but I haven't watched his stream.
Still a mod in his chat.
That's fucking sweet.
Yeah, because he's like, you know what, Cam, you're a cool dude. Don't abuse this. And then he modded me. I'm like, holy.
Yes.
You just modded me, man. Like, I'm not gonna.
Power.
I'll never use this. I'm like one of the 18 I'm one of the 18 mods in his chat. It's like I don't even watch him very often anymore.
Yeah.
By the end of the first season,
we had so many people like coming in every call.
It got to the point where the show was getting too big almost.
Too big for its britches.
And we didn't really realize that until
like midway through the second season.
Even like the third season, man. It's like we still had like 8 people in the call. This is where it's like it gets personal for me because it's like I made all my friends through the podcast
through the show. Yeah,
and I made them through you specifically, because you knew a lot of the people on the Creature Hub. And,
oh my god, I
you knew like everybody. And
to preface that, when I had first started, and this is gonna get a little serious, when I first started prowling around on the Creature Hub, and prowling is an awful word to use here.
Lurking, you could say that's a little better.
When I first started like hosting around on the Creature Hub, I at the time I was kind of depressed, because of some stuff that had gone on in high school. You know, I had just graduated and shit was getting really real really fast.
Yeah.
With like having to start college and everything.
Yeah, life gets hard.
It fucking like sucker punched me in the nuts, dude. It was awful.
That's a good term. I like that.
But
I like that term.
At school we came up with like the funniest insult. It's
We're
calling
the nut punchers.
Instead of calling people a dick, you call them a nutsack. Like, you fucking nutsack. What did you call me? But
you're fucking 12, Tyler. You're fucking 12.
It was kind of my escape from like all the like terrible thoughts that would like swirl around in my head.
Yeah,
and like as soon as I joined, there was this group called the Mangoes.
Oh, we're taking it back now, boys.
It was started by Riley.
Shout out to Riley.
Shout out to our boy Riley.
He's gonna hate us.
God, I love Riley. Riley's like the other guy that in our giant group that I love the most.
Rowan,
like,
I know you're in the chat. Go type in the Skype chat that we just mentioned the Mangoes, and if Riley's in the call, tell him we love him.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks in advance.
Anyway, Riley started it with this guy named Jason. Have you ever met Jason on Skype? Epic Mango dude.
Yeah, no, I have him.
Oh, he's so cool. He's such a funny guy.
I have him on Xbox. I have him on Skype, I think, still, and I have him on Steam, and he was on the show. He was on the show a couple times.
Yeah, we did bring him on the show a few times, but he and and Riley basically like reached out to me.
Okay.
As soon as I joined, because they were still like they were like pretty close friends already. And as soon as I joined, they like dragged me into this group thread that they had. It was called the Mango thread at the time, and yeah, like there were so many people in the group already.
Oh yeah, man! It was like
that
there had to be like 50 at least.
Nah, it was
there had to be like 20 at least.
I think it was like 15 people.
There had to be at least 10.
We're in that forum group. And they brought me in, and I was like, "Oh my god, these guys are so nice!" Like, I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, man.
I spent like every moment of my spare time at school, like because I would have so much downtime in between my classes at school. I wouldn't like drive back home or ride back home or anything. I would just stay on campus and like just dig around on the forums while I had the chance. And this was before I made like any of my friends on campus at now Gordon State College. But yeah, they provided me with an outlet for kind of like getting myself in the better mood. And I mentioned this. I made a post a few years ago in well, it wasn't a post. It was I left a message in Skype one day, and I was like, "Thank you guys. You guys have saved me from myself. I love you so much." And you were in the group at the time.
I don't remember this.
I don't think
probably.
I don't think anybody would remember me making that, but you guys kind of did, and I've loved every minute of just getting on Skype every day and just seeing like
I
whatever
still do,
bullshit,
man.
whatever bullshit just comes out of our brains every single day. Like see, right now I spend like Friday to Sunday at my girlfriend's house because she's really selfish, and she wants to hog me to herself, and
I want to hog you for myself because we need to play fucking Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes, we do. But I spend my whole weekends there, and then I'll come back, and there will be like 1,000 unread messages on.
Dude,
on
that's like in a day. Honestly,
I know it's like at least 600 in a day, and sometimes there will be kind of a dry spell, and that's why it only gets to like 1,100. Only gets to 1,100 messages, but like
nothing.
It's like there's so much that you miss in a day, and you can just kind of like jump in and be
at any point, yeah.
At any point, and be just contribute to the conversation. And
yeah,
it feels nice, man.
Well, you guys are like my extended family at this point, and
yeah.
You guys,
I've already called you my brother.
Well, yeah, you're my brother from another state, so
from another country.
Yeah. You guys specifically, I think, helped a lot with my social skills.
Yeah.
Where every day constantly talking to people kind of builds up, I don't want to say an immunity, but like you learn how to socialize.
Yeah.
Admittedly, our group is not the most eloquent group, but it is very helpful in the long run to socialize daily and kind of learn social interactions, even though may not be in person. You're still, to some extent, almost getting a face-to-face relationship with people through the computer. Like even now, like we're webcamming, and like it's just Shimmy says, "What do you mean? Not eloquent? Fucking rude as fuck." And because of that, you've helped me very much so find it easier to socialize in real life. Like even when I started college, like the first week. And this is for everybody probably, but you're nervous. You're nervous as fuck.
Because you don't know anybody.
Yeah, you're going... Well, unless you're going with a friend. Like, unless you're going somewhere with a friend and you kind of know some people, like, you at least have somebody to talk to. But, like, for me, I'm commuting. I have none of my friends. And I'm starting, like... It's like I'm starting a new chapter in my life. And it's tough because, like... I've spent the past 4 years building a relationship with my group of friends, and all of that is mostly gone.
Yeah.
And it's just it's tough. It's tough when you think of it like that, because you don't necessarily know what to do in that type of situation. So just from the years of talking to you guys, it was a lot easier for me personally to
to acclimatize yourself.
Yeah, to even like get used to the situation, and just finding similarities in people you've never met before.
Though, albeit college makes that a little easy, especially in Canada, because you got, as far as I know, you guys don't have to go do like core classes for college, and then you do like all your program stuff. Like that's how it is here in the U.S., where it's like, all right, you go into college. Well, before you get started with any of your program stuff, you got to do like a couple courses of English, couple courses of math, couple of courses of history, whatever. And then depending on whether or not like you do like if you do anything in math, you got to take like more science classes than everybody else, and definitely more math classes or whatever.
Yeah, the American education system is so weird. It's so weird.
So fucked.
So weird.
But college kind of makes it easier than any point before in your schooling to make friends, because you're in an environment where people already have pre-existing similar interests to you. So like with me now, I'm in film school currently.
Are you now? Okay.
Yeah, I'm with people that want to go into like the film industry and do like camera work or lighting or or like being a production assistant or like a production manager, like depending on what you want to do. We're all still like interested in the film industry, so we already have like that little basis for connection, and it just makes it easier to like start talking to people and make friends. Like I've made so many friends in like the past like 2 months compared to like the first 4 or 5 months I spent in college. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's interesting because for me it took the first week. It was the Friday of the first week when I actually like started opening up and making friends with who are now some of my best friends, and like it's just finding common ground. And my friends from school, one of them's huge into Gundam, so that's like
I'm so upset that I didn't get to meet him when I came to visit.
Yeah, Alex, and we both love Gundam, so it's like, well, there's one common ground. We both love video games, we play anime. It's like it's just finding common points. So by the time I'd finished the first week, I had 1 or 2 at least friends to start off with, and then by the time of week 3, I'm studying animation. For those who don't know, I'm currently in a game development program, a 3-year game development program, where I'm specializing in learning animation, specifically video game animation. But my skills I could take to movies, I could take to commercials.
God help us if you ever take that to movies. And if I ended up doing something like sound or whatever, and we ended up working together, how fucking tight would that be?
I want to make my own company one day, like an indie company. Like it doesn't have to be big. I just want to use my skills to make something of my own creation, and build it up. Even with my buddies from school, like we all specialize in something different.
The Post-Game Lobby Incorporated.
Remember? I'll tangent again real quick. Back in the day, back at the end of the mid of season 2, end of season 2, when we had Xander and all of them on the show. This is skipping ahead of our timeline a little bit, but I'd always talked about like, one day, you know what, we're gonna get together and we're gonna make like a company together, guys. Like that was my dream. My dream was to make a company with my friends.
Yeah.
And like we'll be the Reapers.
Reaper
Incorporated or some shit like that. And
oh my god, do you remember this is kind of another tangent off of that. Do you remember when we were all playing Minecraft at the time? and we wanted to make a machinima about like a day at the Reaper offices.
I still have. I still have the script.
We started building an office building in Minecraft, and
Reaper building, the Reaper building.
Yeah. I remember like the only thing I was gonna do because Buffy was kind of
we'll get to her eventually.
Half running it at the time, and so she didn't like me at all. So I think she just kind of like ignored the fact that I existed, and like I came into the server one day and I was just running around in a circle in whatever room that I was. She was like, "All right, this is your room," and I just like kind of dug a little oval. A blocky oval shape in the ground, and I was just running a circle in it, and she was like, yeah, you're gonna be our power source for the,
for the building.
Yes! I'm okay with that.
I'm pretty sure I still have some of the script. I have a folder on my desktop called Machinimas, because I had planned a bunch with my friends during school, because I had a capture card. I had the shittiest capture card. It doesn't even work in my computer. Like, that's how bad it is. And I had like scripts and stuff of stuff I was gonna like do with them in like Little Big Planet or like Smash Bros or whatever. But yeah, we were gonna do a machinima that never happened. I think the premise of it was fantastic, and I think if we had actually put our mind and actual energy into it, it would have turned out decent at least.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? College.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So by the end of the first week, I had made a friend or two, just through the socializing skills that I've developed over the course of the stupid fucking Skype call. Until about middle of week 2, beginning of week 3, they were like the only two guys I was actually talking to, and yeah. So I'm in game development, especially in animation. So one of our classes in first year was coding. 2D prototyping is what it was called, but it was Flash script. We were doing animation script or whatever. And one of the guys sat down beside me because I had a row I liked sitting in the class, and I like sitting by the wall because it's close to the heater, and it's like it's the middle of the winter. I'm cold, so
it's the middle of winter in Canada.
Oh wait!
Whoa!
Cameo.
That was the dude that fucking like burned his wheels out.
Oh my god, yeah. And this guy sat down beside me, and we just started talking, and his name was Tyler as well. We just called him TJ, and
good. There's only room for one Tyler in your life, Cam, and that's
man. I loved socializing with TJ. TJ lived like 10 minutes away from my house. He lived in Whitby as well, and him and I would take the train back together, and we just talk. And he was talking to another guy in the class who's now one of my best friends. And we had walked back to the train station together, and we had just missed our train, so we had to wait. And our other buddy, or my buddy now, I guess, was standing over, and TJ's like, hey Brad, and Brad's like, oh hey guys. And he walked over, and Brad is now, like, he's on the animation stream with me, and him and I are suffering together.
Yes!
So yeah, and so my group, my 2 friends evolved into 4, and my 4 friends evolved into, like, 6. My 6 friends evolved into, like, 12, and before I knew it, like, by the end of first semester, we'd have this huge table at lunch down in the foyer, and foyer for Americans.
I say foyer because I can't stand it when people say foyer. I'm
thank you.
You're fucking meme lord.
My parents.
Shut up.
My parents add another point to loving you then. So yeah, like we had this huge group of friends, and it's like, wow. I just thinking about it even now. It's like, wow, like my group of 2 buddies like evolved into 12. So it's
imagine when you get out of school and you start working in your field. It's just gonna be like
it's all over again, man. Yeah, you just start over, start from scratch. But again, it's at the point like my social skills are developing every day. I know back even in elementary school, was terrible at presenting, like
Yeah.
speeches, presentations, whatever. I was terrible at it. I was get so nervous. Past week we had a presentation in our elective class, and I was like, you know what, man? It's just another presentation. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Brad's like, I hate speaking in front of people. I'm so nervous. Like, I want to throw up. I'm just sitting there with like my arms crossed. I'm like, I'm so bored. Can we just get this show on the road? Like,
Yeah.
And it's gone to the point where I'm no longer like 100% socially awkward. I'm like 20% socially awkward. So
Good.
and
All
it's-
thanks to the show.
Really, it is for the most part thanks to this show. Which brings us to the end of season 1.
Shout out to Simo, by the way, because she's at school right now and she can't.
Is she
Can't make it to the live stream.
is she watching it?
No, I told her that we were doing it, and or I sent her a Snapchat. She sent me a Snapchat and she said at school and things are going smoothly, and I sent her a Snapchat and it said final podcast is going smooth. And she's like, oh, I can't watch it because
Aw. Well, shout out to Sima. Sima is one of our friends from a really, really long time ago, I guess, for now. And so when season 1 ended, when we did our live stream with Amtrax, I had plugged it on the Creature Hub, and we had 10 to 20 people in the chat, which was, it's like, yeah, we have 10 to 20 people in the chat, oh my god. And it was all the people from the Creature Hub, so
yeah.
I'm losing my train of thought here.
You're blanking.
I'm blanking. Because people are texting me for homework. I was added afterwards to what was
To the big group that I was in.
The Mango chat is what it was at the time.
I remember that.
And that's where I met Riley and Nick and Xander and like
Jason and
like all of the people who were a part of the Mangoes, which at the time was like there were like 25 people in that chat. Like there were a lot.
Yeah.
Considering now we only have like 18, which is still quite a lot, but and I was sort of out of my own element because it's like I don't know any of these people.
Yeah.
And you were the one person I could rely on to like confidently talk to. I
Got kind of like morph you into the group.
Yeah. So slowly but surely, we started like I started getting more comfortable with the chat, and then season 2 started, and I put another thing, like, you became a permanent member by the end of the season. I think it was like 3 weeks into you coming in, it's like, oh, by the way, Tyler's
a permanent.
Tyler's a member
in
show.
Passing, Tyler's a permanent member now. Woo!
Back to the show. When we started season 2, I can do a little behind the scenes now that the show's ending. Yaz and I had a falling out, just specifically the two of us.
Yeah.
I
only ever met Yaz like the one time.
I think you were only ever in a call with him like once.
Yeah.
He was
I played Minecraft with him once.
Yeah,
with
he
a few of his friends.
was playing Minecraft, and I don't know, he was having a bad day or something, and I don't even remember. Like, I said something and it set him off, and him and I like started having an argument, and I was like, you know what, man, I'm done with you. Like, I'm done with your attitude, because he was such a negative person. He was a douchebag. He had such a negative attitude, like, about everything. And it's like, you know what? I'm not dealing with this anymore. You're off the show. And he's like, fine, I don't want the show anyway. So what was originally supposed to be a 4-man show was back down to a 3-man show with just you, me, and Richie. Richie didn't seem fazed by it. He kind of knew Yaz was a bit of a shitlord. So
yeah.
So you, me, and him kind of hammered it out for the last couple episodes of the show, for the first season.
I don't think you actually ever you did at the time. You didn't really fill me in on on what had gone down with Yaz.
Yeah, I think I just said like he's gone. I don't want to go into it.
He's just not gonna do the show. I think he just said that he's not doing the show anymore. I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm still doing the show, so it's okay.
So we got into the second season. I'm like, damn, we're down a member again.
Like this, did we bring Riley in?
So no, what we did is I put another thing on the Creature Hub. I said, hey, we're looking for another member of the show. Anybody that's interested in actually joining the show, let me know. And that's where Caleb comes in.
Oh, Caleb! Yes!
Now Caleb is a member in our chat still. He's very much so off in his own world now. He's quite. I think he's busy like all the time. So
because he works between working and school.
Yeah. So Caleb came on the show. He was a much more tame version than he is now. God damn.
Oh my god. He's so funny though.
And Caleb joining was kind of the catalyst for the show getting as big as it did.
Yes.
And with that, you added him to the chat as well, or he was already in it. I don't remember.
He was already in the chat.
And Clem, one of the other guys in our group, gave me a Minecraft account, one of his like old Minecraft accounts, and I'd play Minecraft like with you guys like all the time, and yeah, so I was like, dude, we were just dicking around all the time, and it got to the point where it's like, hey, do you guys want to just come on the show? Like, the more the merrier was my attitude with it.
Yeah.
And I got a little too apprehensive with that, I guess, and like, hey guys, you come on, sure. 30 people in the call.
Fuck it. They're fucking fine. We'll all talk.
I was like, whatever, we'll just talk louder than each other.
We're all friends. It's okay.
And
better comedy.
That went on for 2 or 3 seasons, until we had Matt Eads on. Matt Eads is another content creator, is what I'll call him. He did. I think he's renamed the show to Talking Reckless, but he did the show, the Mana Tank podcast, which even before that it was called like, I don't remember what it was called before that. It's gone through like 4 names because they've kept on having to jump like websites and like sponsors or whatever.
Yeah.
And well, I kind of go ahead.
I'll fact check it on the wiki real quick.
Is there a wiki?
I think there's a wiki for it.
I kind of modeled myself after him as a podcast host, because I really liked their show, and I thought their show was, like, their format was good. I stole their format. I'll be straight up. I stole their format, which to say isn't a bad thing. Like, it's a normal format. I just kind of stole how they went about it, I idolized how. I guess idolized is too big of a word. I looked up to how he handled the show and like what he did with the show, and I figured, you know what? If we can get him on, we could probably expand our audience.
Yeah.
So I sent in an email one of the shows, because they always did emails at the end of their shows, which is what we tried and what we failed to do. As our audience never really
that
grew.
became a shtick of ours, though.
Yeah,
at least a shtick of mine. You'd be like, Tyler.
Emails.
Tyler, what?
You know what time it is? And
emails. I missed that. Oh my god, I missed that so much.
So I emailed into him to the podcast one day, and I asked him a simple question like who's your favorite like comic book like superhero or some shit or like something like that. And at the end I said, P.S. You don't have to read this on air, but I do a podcast as well, and I was wondering if any of you guys would, like to come on the show at all, just to like give us a helping hand almost, and just come on the show. We'll talk. We'll shoot the shit for a while. And Oliver Aguilar, formerly known as Swagger Aguilar. Bless you.
Yeah, thank you.
Came on the show first, and he could only stay for like half the show or whatever. He came on and he kind of gave us some pointers, and we talked, and he kind of, again, I didn't know how to handle guests, so they anytime a guest came on, they kind of just
it's just like they talk it.
they got lumped in. Yeah, they got lumped in, like kind of like the rest of us.
Terrible way to handle guests.
So he came on, and then I messaged Eads like a week or two after that. I said, "Hey, Swaggerhead came on. Do you want to come on?" And he's like, when it's the show, like whatever. Yeah, sure, I'll come on. In his sarcasticness.
Yeah, gotta love Eads.
And I'm like, cool. We do it this, and this, and like this is when we air. Like, add me on Skype. Here's my Skype. Like whatever. We'll work out the details then. And he also could only make like half the show or whatever.
Yeah.
It came on.
I think when Swag came on, there was I think it was only the four of us at the time, wasn't it? We hadn't quite like exploded into like the 4 million man show.
It might have been, yeah.
And then when Eads came on, we had like
that's really where the realization of how many people in the call kind of hit us, because Eads came on the show, and I introduced him last, whereas I should have introduced him first. I treated him a bit differently. I think I asked for his opinion on stuff a lot more than I did on any of the other guests.
Yeah.
The first thing, he's like, wow, there are a lot of people in here. And it's like, hey guys, I'm Matt Eads here. Just, what's going on? It's like, yes, it's Matt Eads. Yes, he's on the show.
It is the Matt Eads joining us.
So when we had finished recording, I think it was the week after they did their show.
Yeah.
And Eads had mentioned us, and we had a surge of downloads. We had like 500 downloads in like a week, which is unbelievable, because we're averaging like maybe 10 in a week.
I remember we had actually finally gotten comments on our iTunes page.
Yeah. Like, hey, I really like your show, or like, hey, we got sent here from the Man of Tank. It wasn't a lot. It was like 3 or 4, but it was but Eads had mentioned on the show, he's like, man, there were a lot of people in there. It's like hard to like concentrate or whatever. And I kind of took that to heart. Like, you know what? There are too many people in the call, and maybe we should tone it down a bit. So I made like the next week. I'm like, guys, we could 6 people max. Like even then, that's too much. But like 6 people max, which we've very slowly worked our way down to 5, which is ideal.
See, what we should have done is just like make a new call every week, and I think we were just kind of too lazy to do that. But we should. That's what we should have done. Is just have a new call every week.
So we had a small surge of people like download the show. I guess I don't know if they didn't like it or if like it just wasn't their thing. Like, but the surge never stayed. And I figured, damn, if we do end up having this many downloads every week, I'm gonna need to start putting money into this. So I have been paying monthly or yearly rather.
It's like 100 a year, right?
It's like 120 every year. It's
automatic.
It's kind of expensive. Which to say, after we're done this show today, I'm canceling my subscription to it. As there's no need for it. I'll leave up a couple shows. I'll leave up however many I can, and the rest I'll leave in a link for the archive download. So but like I'm not paying $120 for doing nothing all year. So just recently we have been the past couple months we have been getting a couple downloads every week, like 30 downloads every week. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Considering we haven't been doing the show, we
haven't done a show
in almost a year. So like shout out to shout out to the 30 people who download every month or every week rather, I guess.
Yeah. When I went down to Tallahassee for MSI, I downloaded it onto I downloaded like an entire season onto Angela's iPod.
Wow. You just powered through them?
We just listened to them because it's a long drive from Stockbridge, Georgia, which is like 20 minutes east of Atlanta, down to like northern
Tallahassee, Florida,
all the way down the state down to northern Florida.
Wow. Yeah, it's a long drive, man.
It's like like a 6 or 7 hour drive.
Wow.
So we powered through like most of them on the way down, and then we powered through most of them on the way back. It was great. I was like, wow, this is what it was like to do.
It's almost surreal. Because I honestly do like going back and listening to the shows. I think it, especially back when we did them weekly, it gave me personally kind of idea of like where the show is at the time and like what I can do differently every week. And that is where a lot of the implementations came from when we rebranded the show as Post Game Lobby, and where all my ideas came from. Like,
are you looking for supper of some type?
I'm kind of hungry.
What would you like?
I want some pizza.
You want to throw a piece of chicken in the oven or something?
Sure.
Okay.
Didn't order me a pizza?
No, I'm getting some chicken for dinner.
Damn it.
But yeah, when we rebranded, I like everybody having a news story to talk about instead of just me powering through news, and everybody like having a game to talk about and stuff like that. Like it was like I needed like interaction between us because it was the Cameron and Tyler show for the most part, and listening back to shows was a good self-critique, more or less. But yeah, like even then, like we narrowed the group down. We had the regulars, which were you, me, Riley, generally Rowan, and whatever fifth person would fill in. So sometimes
just like whoever's on.
Sometimes it was Nick, sometimes it was Cameron, sometimes it was Shimmy, sometimes it was Sima. Like it was a conglomeration of everybody as our schedules all differed at times. So it worked out for a while. And we were getting downloads. We were getting 15 to 20 downloads every week, which is
not bad.
Not good, but we had a fan base. We built ourselves up from the ground. And personally, I'm sad we didn't get any bigger, but I'm not really surprised, as we didn't really brand ourselves, and like we're just a bunch of nobodies. Like, well, how are we gonna brand ourselves?
Yeah, that's kind of the other like leg of it, is that none of us had like YouTube channels or anything. It's just kind of like dudes talking about stuff.
I know when I first started college, I think it was just after first semester. This was before I figured, what the show's done. Like we can't just keep going on doing nothing. I had the idea of like printing out like a couple sheets and just pinning them to the cork boards in the campus. Like, hey, podcast every Saturday. Come and listen. Like whatever. Like that would have been the only way. Like I actually could have gotten us some possible viewers. But it's just I was too lazy personally, and I just never did that. So our viewer base is small, but it is what it is. So and our format really stayed the same for the last couple seasons. We had 4 to 5 people. We'd talk about news, video games. We'd talk about what came out during the week. We'd talk about League of Legends. Up until we rebranded, and then it kind of fell apart, because I know if you listen back, I don't know if the podcast is up. It should be. I was seriously contemplating I was contemplating ending the show like a year and a half ago. I was like, I'm done. I don't have the drive anymore. I don't enjoy doing the show. It's become a chore, but I don't want the show to die necessarily. So
because it's our baby. That's the term. That's the term they use. It's our baby.
It is our baby.
I agree.
And it's like I want it to keep going on, but like one of you were gonna have to take over, and I know you guys don't really have the motivation to do it either. So we'll leave it for a week and a bit, see where it goes from, and go from there. And it was around that time you and I had started Nostalgia Incoming with your 2 buddies and my ex-girlfriend, which, so to speak, has put me through, like, I've been going through shit all the time, I guess, since then, just mentally and
I know, dude.
Emotionally. So
you and I went through some trials at that point.
You know, I'm still dealing with it for the most part. Like I just live
Well, I
day to day
mean,
at this point.
you and I as friends kind of went through.
Yeah, you and I, we almost had a falling out. I kind of want to talk about that as well, but we'll get to that in a couple minutes. It was around that time, like we started Nostalgia Income, because I'm like, you know what? Maybe if we start another show, Nostalgia Incoming, for those who don't know, I kind of want to go back to it. I really do, because I think the premise was good. I think the format we had was good.
It was just the
it was just yeah. Besides you and me, like we needed to find other people.
Yeah.
Other than Evan, I don't remember. It was.
I think it was just Evan.
It was Evan. Evan was alright. I liked Evan. Evan was into it.
Yeah, I haven't spoken to Evan in a long time.
Who was your other buddy? I don't remember his name. Sordo21.
Oh, Rob.
Yeah, Rob did it with us as well.
Rob. I don't really talk to Rob that much either.
And see, look, the three members we don't talk to anymore. So I'm not even mentioning her. So, yeah, like I really did like the format that we had going. And for those who don't know, it was a retro gaming podcast where we talk about. I think we had specific topics. Usually, yeah. We talk about NES era, we talk about SNES era, we talk about Zelda, we talk about Mario. Like we had like actual topics every week to talk about. And it was good. We were fueling each other.
I think it was around that time that that we kind of had our second win per se for
yes, exactly.
the show.
Yeah,
because we did like a 2.5 hour long show about Fire Emblem.
Yes, we did.
Just
you and I did. Yeah.
About the entirety of Fire Emblem.
The lore, the timeline, the franchise, the games. It's because Awakening came out. Fire Emblem Awakening came out at the time.
Yes.
So Tyler and I were really on Fire Emblem at the time.
Speaking of which, there was a Fire Emblem panel that basically did the same thing that I went to at AWA. And I was like, oh my god, I wish I could just totally just tell these guys to go check out the show that Cam and I did.
All y'all can shut y'all mouths, because we already did this.
We already did it.
And yeah, I think the show itself gave you and me a second wind. It really did give me a second wind.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe I'm not done with the show. Maybe I'll stick it out and see where it goes from there. And I figured, you know what? Fine. We'll stick it out. We'll stick it out till the end of the year and see how it goes from there. Which was a good idea, I think.
Yeah.
Because I really wasn't.
We ended up having like that wasn't our first year that we did an end of the year show, but it was our first like really good one.
Yeah, I think just my second wind, your second wind, and just how we had kind of molded the show at the time, really did. It improved the show to the point where it's like that was the best like couple months the show will have ever had easily.
That was our Zelda formula.
And you know what? It's like we probably could have ended it there.
Yeah.
Realistically, and I think I would have been okay with it then, but we didn't, and that's why we're having this show.
Because we didn't want to. I mean.
Yeah, but back when you and I were having our personal life issues, Tyler and I almost had a bit of a falling out where we were both going through stuff, and you're doing things that you were talking to people I specifically like didn't want you talking to.
Yeah.
And you were flirting with them more or less is what it felt like. It's like, man, just stop it. Can't you respect my boundaries? And Tyler, yeah, we had a rough time, and you had left for a week.
I think I left for like
it was 2 weeks. It was 2
weeks.
weeks.
It was 2 weeks, and you guys did I was like, just do the show without me for a few weeks.
You went off.
I won't come into, like, if I come into the call, I'll just listen.
Yeah, it was.
I don't think I actually even joined. I didn't. Join the call.
You didn't join the call.
I was just like, I'm just gonna,
We all needed time to. We needed time to diffuse, more or less, and
yeah. Oh, it was bad too, because everybody in the chat was like
hostile. Everyone was hostile.
Well, hostile to me, and
yeah.
It was something that I needed. It was something that all of us needed.
I mean,
really.
we all make mistakes, and I think the way we handled it, we definitely could have handled it better. But I think it was a wake up call to you. It was a wake up call to me, personally, because I don't know. I think I needed a bit of drama in my life to get me to forget some stuff. So, I was down the dumps for a while. There was a whole week where I was out of commission, more or less. And it was a tough week. It was like, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was sad. And the one thing, the catalyst of what cheered me up was, sounds stupid. Team 4-Star, the the abridged series people released. They released the first episode of their Attack on Titan abridged, and that's the first thing that like made me smile.
I remember how hyped you were over Attack on Titan.
So like I found that video so funny, and it really brought me back into regular camp, and from there like everybody was like there for me in my time of need, and I realized like I didn't need to shut myself away for a week. I probably could just talk to you guys and I would have been good to go. But it was post that the drama came, and I needed that to even further my closure, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it helped. It really did.
It was kind of weird though, because it wasn't the first time that we had gone through a situation like that. There were like two other people that we had, besides Yaz, but Yaz was kind of a douche from the get-go. And also he wasn't part of like the overarching like group of friends that we have.
Yeah, he was never in our Skype call.
He was just part of the show.
Yeah.
Prior to me joining the show.
I met him on the free-to-play, multi-massive online free-to-play game, Grail Online, Graal Online.
Oh my god, Grail.
It was like some shitty, like, it's almost a Flash game, so to speak. I still have it installed, I think. I'm not gonna lie, it's somewhere on my computer. But I met him through that, because him and some other kid who, it's back in the days of MSN, God, because I talked to him on MSN. That's where like we got the idea. Like, you know what? Let's download Skype. Let's do this. Him and this other guy that I talked to from Grill, they like worked on a server together. They were making their own server, and I kind of was like there to tag along. And I'm like, hey guys, I'm just kind of here.
Yeah. And
that's where I met him. But yeah, he was a douche from the get go. Who was the other one?
We had. Buffy, that, oh my god, that shit was,
I think that was,
bad,
you know what?
It's bad to say, it was so funny though.
I think it was post you and me though. I'm pretty sure that was after you and I had our issue.
No, because I remember, when we were, when the shit got like the shit hit the fan, I had messaged Rav, because Rav was like the only person, that wasn't that hostile to me, and he was like, people were really talking about you being the next Buffy, and I was like, oh my god,
yeah.
Like he's the one that told me to talk to you about like everything that had been going on, and that's
Rav might be one of the odd ones, but he really is, he knows what to say a lot of the time.
Yeah, he's a smart dude. I mean,
he doesn't show it all the time, but
he and Clem are both like, Clem's actually like amazingly smart. Rav mentioned to me that his sister went to like some Ivy League school. Like I think she
in Boston somewhere. Yeah,
she's like Brown or something.
Yeah. Clem and Rav are both top blokes.
Really smart dudes.
Quality lads, if you will.
But I shout out to Rav, because he more or less saved.
He saved our relationship.
He saved our friendship, man.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate it. But it was Buffy. Having kind of a like she had been really toxic in the group.
She was
for a long time.
She was weird.
She was really close friends with Tori, and then Tori just finally had enough, and she snapped at her.
Yeah.
And
I won't go into specifics, but Tori's one of our friends, and I won't go by her internet name. I don't think anybody cares about that, so I won't even bring it up. But Buffy had known her like her real name was and all that, and kind of told some people. When
Tori didn't want us to know.
Yeah, well, she didn't know, so she had told us like all this stuff, and I brought it up one day. I'm like, oh yeah, blah blah blah, and Tori's like, wait, she did what? I'm like, yeah, I thought you knew. She's like, no, I didn't know. I'm like, oh, Did I say something that
I
I
don't
may
know.
or may not should have said? And yeah,
In retrospective, you should have said
I
it.
did.
Yes.
I said it. Tori's reaction was completely justified, and the subsequent actions were also all justified. We didn't remove her immediately. It was about 2 weeks. She had moved into an apartment or something, didn't have any internet.
Yeah.
I mean, the 2 weeks she wasn't here, it was like heaven. It was like, oh my god, I forgot what it was like to not have cancer in my chat.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we removed her. We were done with her. But
we kind of let Tori do it though. Like we
completely.
most of us didn't say anything while it was going down.
I have the
and
audio posts.
It happened in a Skype call.
It was you.
We were all there. It was you, me.
I wasn't in the Skype call. I was asleep.
Did you have the call up though?
No, Tori called it. Tori recorded.
Oh,
it.
Tori recorded it. That's right.
It was
Riley,
you, Riley, and Tori and Buffy.
I think Rav.
I don't think Rob was
was
there.
in it too.
I think it was like 3 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, like
Yeah.
they were important.
Yeah, man. We let her handle it, and
Yeah.
she handled it
like a
very
chick.
very maturely. Very maturely.
I don't know about maturely. Because it was
she
funny.
no,
It was funny
well,
as hell.
but she handled it the way, like, she didn't instigate anything, and
Yeah.
she was stating the facts, and she handled it well. So I say she handled it maturely. Buffy, on the other hand, did not.
Of course not, because she's not a mature person.
Yeah. So.
It was her and Lucas that we also.
We didn't really have a falling out. It was more he just kind of went his separate way. It was all mutual, more or less.
We knew he was a douche, and he thought we were douches. So
He didn't like that we liked certain things, and we didn't like how he didn't like that we liked certain things.
oh yeah, he was a big Dota fanboy, and we were all like into League of Legends.
He always complained. He's like, "Oh my god, why can't League be as good as Dota?" And then anytime League did something Dota did, he's like, "Oh my god, why is League copying Dota?" It's like, come on, man.
He's
Come
one
on.
of those dudes.
He's hypocritical. I think what happened between you and me really did tighten our bond, though.
Oh my god, yes.
I think we're a lot closer now than we were.
You know,
Before
at the time, like it seems kind of trivial that the first thing that came into my mind after we kind of had our argument was, I really hope I'm still coming to Anime North.
Yeah.
To hang out with you, and you know, like after my 2 week sabbatical, to say the least. You know, I came back. Everybody was kind of like, "Oh, hey, Tyler. Well, you know, welcome back," or whatever. I was like, "Hey," and you know, I at least tried to tone myself down a little bit. You know, I was still kind of.
And you did.
I was still like, you know, Tyler level
yeah.
hype, but like I wasn't, you know, just being a complete asshole.
Tyler's internet was not very forgiving to him back in the day, and Tyler would get very upset while playing League of Legends. To the point where everybody's like, "Oh my god, Tyler, stop talking," and you don't do it anymore. Thankfully,
I still get a little frustrated, but I try to think objectively a little bit.
I talk to myself when I get frustrated. I say like, "Oh my god, you know, I'm doing pretty bad," but it's like whatever. I'm just playing the game. But yeah, you and I are a lot closer now than before that, and I'm thankful that happened.
Yeah.
From there, like, the show's more or less the same. You and I, we've both done stuff with our life since then, and I've made the same mistakes I've made already, which haven't made matters any better for myself, I guess.
You know, being like such a good, at least from my perspective, being such a good friend for you, like. I've tried my hardest to like give you advice when it comes to that stuff, because I've
doesn't help, man.
I'm
clueless. I really am.
I've been through a lot of stuff that you've been through. Like for most of the people in the chat, where it's just like, you know, because I'm like the oldest person out of all of us.
Isn't Rav?
Rav's 21. He'll be 22 and
is Clem?
Clem's like 19.
Is he
20.
really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. He sounds older than like all.
He only just started. I think he only just started college.
Oh yeah, because he moved to the States.
Because he moved to the States.
Yeah.
Wow. So like from an it sounds
from an
weird.
old man perspective.
From an old
yes.
man perspective, like just someone that's seen a lot of the stuff that a lot of our friends have gone through. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, I kind of have like an insider's perspective of it, so I'll just, you know, give you like some kind of advice. You know, if it works for you, it works. If it doesn't, well, I mean, you tried. So that's kind of how I've had. That's been my view on things for like the longest time, where it's just like,
Yeah.
all right, you try. If it doesn't work, you tried. So
I know.
whatever.
From my perspective of things, while I have made the same mistake twice, and while I still do get hung up about it all the time, just because I think I'm emotionally ruined from that.
Yeah.
I can at least think back and realize where I have gone wrong and what I can do from a future perspective, just by knowing certain things and knowing stuff from what little experience I have had now.
You gotta know people before stuff happens.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's just because I didn't know them well enough, or it's just because I did something wrong or they did something wrong. Like I'll never have the full picture of it, I guess. Is what I'm trying to say, I guess. And I don't know. I take it day to day most of the time now, and
You seem to be happier with it too. Like, just every time I
For the
talk
most
to you or
part.
get like a Snapchat from you, I'm just like, yeah, this is a completely different Cam than what he was like 3 years ago.
I've grown as a person.
Yeah. Oh
I
my
think
goodness.
while I haven't changed a lot, I think I have changed my outlook on life, and I have changed how I approach a lot of things. And you know what? We don't have a long life, so I take every day as it is. And
Oh, the Sage Cam coming in with the advice right here.
I mean, like I run a stupid podcast on the weekend. Take it from me. You gotta just make the most of life, and it takes more effort to, I find, be upset and hung up on things than it does to just go out and enjoy life. Like every day, I laugh so much every day, just because it's like, what's the point of not being happy? And
Right.
I go to school with a smile on my face for the most part, because it's school, of course. But like even the Snapchats I send to my friends, like I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and I'll make the most out of it. And be it posing 3D models in immature positions with stupid captions, or
Ball is life.
or even working and finding a basketball on an altar and being like, ball is life. It's like you just take it one day at a time. And so while I might not be the most emotionally stable for the most part,
You're more emotionally stable than a lot of people.
oh yeah, of course. Well, I mean, it's I don't know if it's just how my brain works, but it's like when nighttime happens, the bedtime thoughts creep in. But I wake up, I'm good to go. So, just live life one day at a time, and just do what you gotta do, and never worry about like what other people think of you. Just, I think that's the one thing I could probably give advice to everybody is do what you want to do.
Do you, homie?
Yeah, do you. Like, not everybody's gonna like you. That's the sad reality of life. You can't make everybody like you. You can try. You won't succeed. So, don't worry about it. And just go out and be you. So, if that's the one message I have to leave for this stupid video game show, that's the message I'll leave. But
Stay inside, play video games.
Stay inside,
kids.
play video games, enjoy life.
Watch anime, be a weeb.
Eat pumpkin pie. 'Cause
Eat
I love pumpkin pie.
Drink pumpkin spice lattes.
Only if you're a white girl.
Only if you're a basic white girl.
Play D&D.
I'll get back. I swear, we'll.
I don't believe you. That's the sad part, Tyler.
I need like another week to actually like get some
Okay.
shit together,
Okay.
and we'll play on.
I've since because we're ending towards the end of our timeline. Tyler started up. Well, I guess I can say I got into D&D a little under a year ago. There's a live stream which you can find on geekandsundry.twitch.tv/geekandsundry every Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is a D&D live show with a bunch of voice actors, and I'd always like had this misconception like D&D's for nerds, like a cloak and wizard.
Well, you're
hat.
a fucking nerd.
I
so-
am, and I think it was just the way it was portrayed through media and like shows like The Big Bang Theory and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's a
It's got a bad rep for.
it's a
doing
misrepresentation, is what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, I know a lot of these voice actors, and I like all of the work they do.
nothing. Yeah.
I'm gonna give this show like.
You know what's really funny about D&D though?
What?
After you've gotten used to playing it, like at least for a little bit, you notice a lot of the things that a lot of RPGs took away from.
Oh yeah,
D&D.
definitely.
So like
yeah.
classes from like like Paladin and Ranger
Yeah.
and anything that you can think of,
It's all from that, yeah.
if it's RPG related, it's already been done.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah,
nothing
years-
new.
yeah,
Because
years
D&D has
ago.
already done it.
Yeah.
Like
I
stuff with like, let's say biotics from Mass Effect. All of that stuff originates in
Dungeons
the
and Dragons.
in the characters' brains.
Yeah.
In their brains, psionics in Dungeons and Dragons already been done.
Yeah.
Like all the class stuff from like World of Warcraft.
Elder Scrolls, like
Elder
anything,
Scrolls.
like you name it,
Already
like
been
RPGs, yeah.
already been done.
And I started getting interested. I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of interesting. And I knew Tyler played D&D, so I'm like, hey Tyler, why don't we play some D&D? And we had talked about it in the chat before, like, hey, Nick,
see, around the time like before you found the Geek and Sundry D&D session, I had started a Christmas campaign.
Of course,
with,
yeah.
with my buddy John, because he's also a Big Bang Theory fan, and he was like, hey, we play D&D already. Why not do like Big Bang Theory and play D&D on Christmas? And we had started the campaign like mid-October, and we had just played like all the way through. And once we got to around Christmas time, we saved Christmas. It was like the best part about that campaign was
That's funny.
it's just us going to save Christmas, and it had gotten to like some crazy stuff like Santa Claus was going to be like a half Santa, half like reindeer hybrid or some shit.
It's disgusting.
Like it was some crazy stuff going on, and there's actually a website where you can do wikis about your campaign.
Oh yeah, Joe has one of those. Yeah.
Yes, it's oh god, I can't remember the name of the website, but
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
We have one for it.
Of course you do.
The campaign name is the Polari Express.
I wanna make one for I DM one for my friends, my coworkers from the summer.
Yeah.
So I'll get into that in a minute, but yeah, like I knew Tyler had played and I knew Nick played, and I'm like, hey guys, you know what? I'm gonna play some D&D. Like, why don't we just do a Skype call?
Yeah, like just do another like that's one thing that I've always loved about the group. It's just like, hey, there's this thing. Let's do it as a group, and most people are like,
almost everybody's like
let's do
for it.
that.
So yeah, let's do it. So
because
Tyler,
we're all friends, and we're just like, yeah, we're all people that like generally the same stuff. So let's put stuff together because we're friends. Friends do.
Tyler DMs our sessions that we haven't had in like 3 months. We haven't had one since you were here for Anime North.
Yes.
So
that's true.
Yeah, like so between that and me getting into it, I introduced it to my coworkers when we were working, because during the summer I worked for one of the school boards in my area, and my coworkers and I are now like good friends. And about halfway through, we'd have lunches like up to an hour-long break. I'm like, guys, we can't just sit here and watch YouTube videos every day. We're gonna run out of YouTube videos. So I'm like, oh, why don't we play some D&D? And two of them were like, excuse me? I'm like, yeah, what? I play D&D. Paul plays D&D. We'll play some D&D. So I explained it to them. I introduced them to Critical Role, the contender stream.
Yeah.
One of them, she's powered through every episode, and she's caught up.
Jesus.
And what started off as a simple adventure to go... There's a cleaning tool that the custodians use called a doodle bug.
Yes.
It looks like a mop with like a spongy thing on the bottom that they use to like clean walls and floors. And one of the guys in our group was like, I love the name. I love the word doodle bug. I'm like,
you know, here, at least in my portion of the South, that's what we call Volkswagen Beetles.
We can call them. We call them doodle bugs. So I'm like, okay, you know what? You all love the name Doodlebug so much. You're going on the quest to find the Doodlebug.
Yes.
So I started us off in a village, and I don't know if I have the. I have I'm looking for a pad of paper, a lined pad of paper, and I written out our adventure up until like we had finished work, and like a lot of the NPCs were named after custodians we had worked with, and like the villages were like the cities in Oshawa and Whitby. It's like, we're going to the village of Ajax, and there's this one custodian. His name was Dave, and one of my coworkers, Bishoy, him and Dave didn't get along.
Oh.
So I made it my job for an NPC to be named Dave. So they go to this treetop village, similar to the way I explained it was like the village in Pokemon Emerald, Ruby and Sapphire, the treetop village.
Yeah.
And there they found a potion shop, Dave's Wondrous Emporium. And literally every village they've been to has had a Dave's Wondrous Emporium. So every village they go to, he has to meet Dave again again.
The one of the running jokes with my character in our we call it the Christmas campaign, because that's what it started out as. It was just us going to save Christmas. My character went to a butcher shop and he purchased a magical like mutton of ham. And John named it. John was like, he couldn't come up with a name of it. He was just like, it is called Butcher's Finest Ham. And so whenever I go into like a new town or a new city, I'm like, can I find some Butcher's Finest Ham?
That's funny.
Yeah,
it's funny. Yeah, I like it's. For me, from a creative standpoint, and definitely from a storytelling standpoint, I think I'd say everybody, like if you have an ounce of creativity in you, play D&D, because you'll find the most enjoyment out of, if you're DMing, you'll find the most enjoyment out of crafting this story. Our story's gone from something as simple as you're going to the Cave of Wonders to find the Doodlebug, to expanding on one of our characters' like backstories, where he named his character Jarl Narks because that sounds very much like Karl Marx.
Yeah.
And he's a dwarven fighter who fought in what was called the Freezing War, not the Cold War, the Freezing War. And he's trying to spread communism to every village we go to. But I've developed off of his backstory of the Freezing War that more or less the situation has come to that he saved this village from this greedy tyrant, and he's like turned the village into communists so that it's like equal, everything's equal, whatever. You guys, like, the butcher gets the same amount, the hairdresser gets the same amount, like everybody works the same and gets the same amount. Like, none of it goes to me, it all goes to you. And he's built his own army in this village. He's expanding on this. He's named this village Stalingard. but we've developed
Good
to the
shit.
point. We've developed to the point where the High Elves were the ones that fought in the war 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And the High Elves have been slowly like integrating into society again. But through roles, he convinces a radical wood elf to convert this one village into communism and exile the High Elves.
That's the best thing about D&D is
You
that
can do anything as long as you have an
sometimes your-
imagination. You can do
Sometimes your
anything.
roles just like make shit. Like have you seen that Nat 1 story where it's like you roll to go to push the orc off the ledge or whatever.
You
and then-
gently caress his back. Yeah. You tickle him or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that one radical high elf has tumbled our whole story into, or wood elf rather, has tumbled our whole story into the high elves getting pissed, the high elves leaving back to the north where they originated from.
Yeah.
Every high elf in this continent has moved back to the north, past this mountain, and this mountain is the home of the Drows, and they're planning another war.
Yeah.
So, from go get the Doodlebug has now evolved into go stop the High Elves or the world is in danger. So
I will say,
it's great. It's great.
as like a first time DM, the hardest thing, at least for me, is creating like key characters, like key NPCs that you interact with.
I've
The world building is really easy. Like you just have to
NPCs.
You have to
NPCs
find
is definitely the hardest.
you have to find something that like either in the monster manual, like just in any of the manuals, like there's you like find a specific race of creatures or like a specific area, and then like creatures that inhabit that area, and it's like, okay, I've got combat figured out. I kind of got a direction for the story. It's just like, who do I create?
Now I need characters. Yeah.
I need to create characters. Like
They've-
that's been the hardest thing for me. It's just like
I have the same issue. I have the same issue.
yeah, like with the one of GIF that you guys
Oh my
encountered
God.
at the end of
Yeah.
the
Like three sessions ago or something.
the well, I mean the last session that we did, you guys.
Oh, the
encountered
one.
it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
The one that I snuck in and then you stopped the session.
He's kind of like the catalyst for the story, but like I
okay.
don't quite know where I'm going at. I know
gotcha.
where I'm going. I don't know who I'm doing after.
I gotcha. I know. For mine specifically, I've introduced a key character so far. I have another one planned. They haven't met yet, but they had to get into this drow encampment. Their plan was to convince the drow that the high elves are doing whatever, which is true. But drow, I had to explain to them, don't like anybody.
Yeah,
they're
fucking racist.
They're racist and they think they're better than everybody. So their plan was to face paint our half-elf, blackface more or less, and dye her hair white so that she passes as a drow.
Great
and
stuff.
then two of the others used self-disguise as drow. Sadly, one of them is a dragonborn and one of them is a dwarf, so they couldn't talk at all during this whole scenario. And then
Because they don't speak Undercommon.
yeah, or Elvish. So I have a player character. I'm playing as a character as well, just because I like playing. So I have a key character that's. I'm using him more as instead of like as a character that I'm playing. I'm using him more as a story. Character and kind of just pushing the story along to a point where I probably won't need him anymore, at which point I will most likely kill him off. But he's a drow, and so drow are my favorite race. Drow are my favorite race.
They're so hard to incorporate as like non-evil characters though.
Oh,
because
my guy's
they're,
evil.
like-
My
they're,
guy's
like,
evil.
Typically evil, yeah.
My guy's chaotic evil, and
Okay.
I'm having so much fun playing it, because I have a whole like thing for my character, and they don't know anything about him, and they're unwilling to trust him, but they'll trust him anyway because he's their key to get through this drow encampment. And anyway, they didn't fail any of their deception rolls, and they got to the leader of of the drow, who turns out to be my character's brother.
Yeah.
And they were just trying to do this whole like the enemy of my enemy is my friend spiel to explain like the high elves are evil, you're evil, we don't want to fight you, but we want to fight them. Like,
Yeah.
well, because Drow are all about what benefits them.
Yeah.
So
Killing nerds.
I did some sneaky stuff, and I have some stuff planned for them. So, but yeah, D&D's cool. Everybody should play D&D.
You know what, Cam?
What, Tyler?
We should talk about what we played this week.
League of Legends. League of
Well,
Legends.
let's do within like the last month or
League
two.
of Legends.
Just League of Legends.
I've had no time, dude. I've played Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear and League of Legends.
Metal Gear Solid 5.
Have you
Phantom Pain.
finished?
I beat it within the week I got it, dude.
Yeah.
I can get okay. I want to wrap the show up real quick after this, but quickly I'll give my review. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain.
Yes.
Metal Gear Solid V: The Phantom Pain, because Kojima's like, it's not 5 guys.
It's not
V.
5. It's V.
Without spoilers, the game is the best game I've played gameplay wise in years. Its gameplay is so good, and it's so user friendly that if you've never played a Metal Gear Solid game, you can get into this one like that.
Yeah.
So the gameplay wise, 10 out of 10, whatever. That game's my game of the year, regardless of what I'm about to say. Story wise, which is why I play Metal Gear games, the game's like a 7 out of 10, which is disheartening. The game starts off strong. God, the prologue is like an hour and a half long, and it just.
Oh, I love long
Dude,
prologues in like
so-
any story-driven game. Like,
I got the game, and this was during the summer still. I still had another week before school started.
yeah,
And Joe came over, and my mom has an LCD projector, like one of the ones that you can shoot
and you
onto a
played
wall.
it on a projector.
I played it in the basement
Oh
on
yeah,
the wall.
I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
So Joe stayed over and watched me play the prologue. I played through Ground Zeroes for him because I'm like, I need to get in the mood, man. I need to play Ground Zeroes again. So I played Ground Zeroes. I'm like, okay, it's time.
It's time.
It's Metal Gear time, baby. So we played through the prologue, and he had to go after we were done the prologue. We looked at each other and we both looked at it like, what the fuck just happened? We're like looking at each other like, we don't know what's going on. I'm like, dude, my mind's being blown. And the game starts off so strong, and the game's broken into 2 chapters. People think there's a 3rd chapter. The game has been out for like 2 months now, man. There's no 3rd chapter. We're not finding a 3rd chapter. First chapter is really good. The issue with the game is they give you a lot of story missions that don't really have anything to do with the story, and they're just kind of there to fill up space.
Yay, fillers.
And it got to the point where the game is mostly like, go here, extract person here, interrogate person here, done mission. Like every mission has like a similar format to that. So it does get repetitive, which is an issue.
Yeah.
And a lot of the story missions are like, this has nothing to do with the story. Like, this is how I'm doing a story. And the second chapter is like, it promises you all this stuff, and it's like the way they execute it is very poor, which is a shame because
Kojima and Konami
everything that you see in the trailers for the game
is fucking epic.
is the game.
Oh my god, yes.
Everything in the game is in the trailers is the game. There's like no new cutscenes that aren't in the trailers, and the way the cutscenes are portrayed in the trailers portrayed the game in a completely different fashion than what the game is actually. There are 2 missions actually there's 1 mission in MGS5 that I think is my favorite mission in like any game I've ever played.
Yeah.
And it's mission 43. I won't talk about it because it would be spoiling, but holy, I didn't want to I got halfway through the mission. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore, man. I can't pull the trigger anymore, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game overall 7.5 out of 10. 10 out of 10 gameplay, 7.5 overall because of the story. But it's my game of the year. So
Fantastic.
yeah, what did you play this month quickly?
Mass Effect.
Yeah,
Mass Effect
baby.
2.
Again?
Yes. I made a Facebook post about it.
I saw.
Like 2 weeks ago. I was like, I thought I would never play the first Mass Effect again.
But
because
you
it's
did.
so garbage. But I decided I was gonna play it while I was at Angela's house. So like she seemed like she was like, all right, it's all right, but you know I don't know if I would play it all the way through. So I'm just like, all right, you know I'll play it through and you can just kind of be here and you know just so you can see what the story is about or whatever. Cause I think Drew Karpyshyn is like one of my favorite writers for video games like ever. Like partially because I've only played like the first Metal Gear, so I haven't gotten the taste of Kojima yet. But
the Ruse cruise that you'll be on for the next 8 years. Yeah.
But yeah, I love how BioWare like did the story for the Mass Effect games because I love everything.
They're good story. They're good story games, man.
Yeah. So that I've been trying to grind my way back up to gold.
Yeah, I was playing ranked yesterday. I went 21-3 on Tristana yesterday in a ranked game.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, it's the best game I think I've ever played in like the last 6 months.
Dude,
so I went back in and I played Tristana again, and I went like 1-7. Like, oh my god. Terrible.
I played a Ziggs game like a week ago, and I did. So I kind of go. I feel like I kind of go out of the mold because I built Lich Bane on Ziggs.
Yeah.
Because the shit you can do with that
with your
so
passive,
it's basically like
it's broken.
See, it's like you turtle if you need to, and then you siege with Ziggs. Because like if you get full build with a Lich Bane,
you're on hits. You're on hits ridiculous. Yeah.
You hit turrets for like 1500 damage with an auto attack, and that's what I did. I autoed a turret, did like 1500 magic damage, and then like 80 or like 100 something physical damage. I was like, dear Lord, this is nasty. This is disgusting.
I went like 13-3 on Yi in a game, and we didn't win because nobody followed my orders to go to Baron when we aced them. But you know, what can I do? Bad yellow, right? Bronze 2 guys.
Yeah, so. I've been playing a lot of Hearthstone too, just because I'm a card player through and through. Like I have like
fits of Cardstone. I have fits of Hearthstone where it's like I really want to play, and then
I play it every day because like monetarily card games are like pretty hard to stay in because if anything you kind of want to try and stay current with a lot of card games, and Yu-Gi-Oh especially is like really hard. It's hard to stay in because it's so expensive to just buy cards and like have good stuff. Whereas with Hearthstone, it's like
it's free.
You can spend money to get stuff, but you can play for free if you play a lot. Yeah, so
it's free.
Cool. So I've been playing a lot of Hearthstone.
Cool.
Guild Wars 2, especially.
I downloaded it. I got to level 10.
Angela super loves Guild Wars, so I was like, you know,
it went free to play. So
it's so much fun. Like the first like
I got
2 hours that I played it, I loved it.
I got to level 10. I'm playing as the plant people.
Yeah.
And
the Sylvans, yeah.
Yeah, I'm playing as a plant person who's a thief. Playing a plant thief, and it's cool. It's just I'm playing by myself, so I don't know. I got to level 10. It's like okay, I'm gonna take a break, and I haven't played it since. So I'm not a huge MMO guy though. So
yeah. I just thought the way that they set up the class, like the thing that really got me was how big the world is. Like, cause if you
it's huge, dude. It's
if you press M and then just scroll out, the world is fucking huge. And when you like think about like, okay, my character is here, there's something like all the way over here, you know.
Yeah. I was listening to an interview. I was listening to a podcast while I was playing, and it was like an hour-long podcast, and it's like that's what was it's keeping me going. I was just listening to it while I was playing, so yeah, it's cool. Yeah, everybody should go check out Guild Wars now. It's free to play because it's a good free to play MMO right now. So.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah.
I actually named my first character after my D&D character. And since there's not an elf race, I figured the Sylvans were the closest thing, you know. And they're like plant versions of elves, kind of.
Yeah, they're cool. They're cool.
And I was like, yeah, this is Peli and Nilo right here.
Because I had made what was the Nords or whatever.
Yeah.
And I made a Nord warlock or whatever they were called. Like I was like, this is boring. I don't want to be a Nord. Could play Skyrim if I wanted to.
Skyrim belongs to the nerds.
So I deleted that character and made a plant guy, which is much better in my opinion. So, yeah. Is that all you played, or?
All that I can think of right now.
Cool.
I've played a few games here and there, but nothing that I picked up Valkyria Chronicles finally.
Oh, that's cool.
The game's really fun.
I've yet to play.
I saw you play Rocket League.
I haven't played it yet.
Oh, you haven't played it.
I downloaded it.
I love that the way you changed your Skype name to.
What, Big Jesus?
Big Jesus.
Yeah, because it's a picture of Jesus with a Fulton sheep. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, that's more or less the show. I really just wanted this show to reflect on
An introspective reflection.
an introspective on the show throughout the years, and I am glad that it is ending.
Yeah.
Because now I don't have to think, man, are we ever gonna do a podcast again? Because now it's like,
Yeah.
no, we won't. Do you have any final words you want to say to anybody, Tyler?
It's been a fun ride. I'm glad that that I've had the chance to make such like really close friends, even though like it's kind of a testament to like the whole it's a relationship, but it's not like a romantic relationship, but it's like a testament to the whole long distance relationships last. It's like,
of course, yeah. As long as you put the time and effort into it, of course.
It's cost me a bit of money, but I've visited a friend from a foreign country.
And I wouldn't have it any other way.
On more than one occasion, and I've loved every minute of it. And I'm so glad that like at least for a time, like we had something cool that we did together, and it's been hours for the last 5 years, and it's been a fun experience.
I'm glad.
It's been the motivation for a college degree for me.
I'm glad that it's inspired you at some way. Cause initially that's all I wanted. I wanted it to be an inspiration. I was gonna actually write something to say as my final bit to the podcast, but I figured it'd be better just to do it live.
Yeah.
As opposed to
we're doing it live.
As something scripted. So I guess what I want to say is I'm glad that I could make something that has impacted us, I guess, as a group, and that I've made lifelong friends through it. And this might be our last goodbye for the show. This is definitely not our last goodbye forever. Be it whatever streams we do, my YouTube, or maybe even on another show in the future. But I guess what I want to say is I'm thankful for everything that this show has given for me, both socially and emotionally and through friendships and stuff. And I want everybody to know that you can do whatever you want in life, and as long as you put some motivation into it, you can make your dreams come true. And you should always take the time out of your life to do what you love. And because of that, I loved the show, so I did the show. And I still love the show, but I can't do it anymore. So with that will be our last goodbye. So for the last time, have a good week, everybody, and we won't be talking to you next week. Goodbye.
See you later, guys.